You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 158. So now what? These three words raced through my mind time and time again during my journey through fertility treatments. I tried desperately to have a child, but never was able. I yearned for a community to join that could understand my struggles. I couldn't find one, so I created one with the So Now What podcast. I love that you found us. Hello there, beautiful friend. So glad to welcome you to another episode of the So Now What podcast. As always, I am grateful that you are here. Things are just bopping and popping up in Lana Manikowski world. My new book is almost 1 month away from being released. If you are interested in getting a free copy that is going to be signed by me, I would love to invite you to sign up to receive a free copy. At the end of March, I'm going to be hosting a webinar that is going to go over some of the important topics that you're going to find when you read So Now What. And I'll be announcing the 10 winners who are going to receive a free signed copy of So Now What. So make sure that you register. You can find the link to register in my bio on social media. You can find it there. If you want to pop in and listen to today's episode, I think you're going to find it really helpful. And something that I felt like was a really good reminder for me, because if you've been following along on Instagram or TikTok or social media in general, you probably know that my life has looked a little bit different these past several months. Starting back in November, I shattered my patella, completely changed my daily life in ways that I never imagined. I had surgery. I'm in physical therapy somewhere between 3 to 5 days a week. Frustrated that I'm not able to drive, although I'm slowly dipping my toe in the water of driving again. And sort of this constant unknown of whether I'm going to need another surgery next month. So stay tuned on that. But let me tell you, going through all this is not something I wanted. I did not plan or ask for this injury. I didn't want to be stuck inside for months, needing help with simple daily tasks that I used to do so easily, and feeling like my independence had truly been stripped away from me. Yet here I am, moving through it, adapting, figuring out what's still possible for me each day. And as hard as this has been, it's reminded me of something that is so important for you too. We do the things that we can do, not because they're things that we plan to do, not because they're things we thought we'd be doing at this stage in our life, but simply because we can. And the truth is, it's just not about recovering from my injury. It's about everything, including what it means to build a life without the children that you dreamed of. So I want to ask you, how often do you see what you can do? So many of the women that have come to me as clients, women that wanted to work with me in the Thrive After Infertility Mastermind, have experienced, probably like you, a hard time recognizing what's possible for them now in this life that is so different than they expected. They are focusing on what they can't have, what didn't happen, what was lost, what they don't even see is available and right in front of them. And honestly, I get it. When I finished my fertility treatments without a baby, I didn't see it as opportunity. I didn't see possibility. All I saw was what was missing. I saw the empty room that I would pass by, wondering what it would have been like and imagining what it had been like if it had been a nursery, the child that I longed for that would never be in my arms, the birthdays, the first days of school, the family vacations, graduations, weddings. And because that grief was so consuming, I completely overlooked what was available to me. I had time, I had energy, kind of. I had freedom to explore new things, to invest in myself, to build relationships, to create a life that was so deeply fulfilling. Like you, I didn't see any of that back then because I was stuck in believing that everything outside of motherhood was this second fiddle backup plan. So I waited. I sat in my sadness for way too many years. I spent years holding myself back from joy because I thought it didn't count if it wasn't the joy of raising children. And I'm just curious, where are you doing that same thing in your life today? and what would happen when you start saying yes. So let me tell you, this past Saturday, it was a beautiful sunny day. I had to go do a site visit for the Others Day brunch, which, on a side note, the Others Day brunch is happening on May 10th here in Chicago. If you want to come into Chicago, like so many women have in years past, and I'm sure I already know this year there's a ton of women already coming from outside of Chicago to join us. It is happening on May 10th. You can go on my website. You can go to my bio. I will put put a link here in the show notes so that you can sign up to be one of the first to get an email when tickets go on sale, because tickets are going to be limited this year. But all that to say, I had to go do a site visit this past Saturday. And when I went to do the site visit, it was a beautiful sunny day. I could have taken an Uber, but I thought to myself, why don't I walk? Why don't I get out there and start to feel as though I'm alive again? And it may not seem like a big deal to you, but it was a big deal for me to do 8,265 steps on Saturday, because I've been stuck inside, recovering for months, unable to move the way that I used to. And that walk meant everything to me. And I didn't do it because I had to. I did it because I could. Finally, I felt strong enough that I could walk on the sidewalk, and it was warm enough that I didn't have to worry about slipping on ice or falling or being bundled up. But that got me thinking, how often do we not do something just because we don't like why we're in the position to do it? How often do you ignore the beautiful things that you can do just because they weren't the things you thought you would be doing? How many times have you skipped out on something that could have brought you joy simply because it wasn't the thing you originally wanted? So let's talk about the truth about what is possible for you. You have so much available to you right now, this very moment. You have the ability to create a life that is deeply meaningful, one that's fulfilling and you feel connected to, but you have to start seeing the things that you can do and actually do them. Maybe that looks like saying yes to an opportunity you've been avoiding because it doesn't fit the timeline you originally imagined. Maybe it means booking a trip you've been dreaming about for years, but kept putting it off because it didn't involve taking kids along. Maybe it means deciding to move or change careers or to start that passion project simply because, my love, you can. Because here's the truth: your life is not second best. You don't have to live in the shadows of a dream that didn't happen. You don't have to treat everything as though it is less than motherhood. The things that you get to experience, the choices that you choose to make, the ways that you get to grow, you get to age, you get to evolve, will create meaning in your life. Those things matter. And the sooner you start recognizing them, and the sooner that you start feeling like your life is yours again, things are going to start unfolding. And you will be able to create this life that you feel connected to again. But let me tell you, what is the first step? I know this isn't easy. I know how deeply ingrained the idea of motherhood was in your vision for your future. That's why I do the work that I do, because I know how easy it is to feel stuck, to feel like everything else is just this filler in your life. But I promise you it's not. If you're ready to start seeing your life differently and start to create joy and purpose and the fulfillment that you can have, I can support you. That is the work that I do. Whether it's you booking a 45-minute Thrive call where it's free for you to get on a call with me and start to put a plan together, or whether it's deciding to join Thrive After Infertility. You do not have to figure this out alone. Together, I can help you create a plan to help you start building a life where you can have a life that you deserve, the happiness that you deserve, the fulfillment that you deserve, not just one that you thought you would have only because you became a mom. If this message resonates with you, I just want to remind you that my new book is filled with real life insights, stories, practical tools that I use to help myself, tools that I have helped countless students and members of Thrive After Infertility build a life that feels truly meaningful. I'm giving away 10 signed copies. You can enter using the link in my show notes. You can head to my bio on Instagram or TikTok. But my friend, as we wrap up today, I want you to leave with one question. What is one thing that you can do today simply because you can? It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be 8,200 steps in the downtown of Chicago. Maybe it's stepping outside for a few minutes just for some fresh air. Maybe it's signing up for a class that you've always wanted to take. Maybe it's making a plan to visit a place that has been on your heart for years. Whatever it is, do it because you can. Because this life, it isn't a backup plan. This is your life to live. So I hope that you have a beautiful week. I love you. And remember that it's never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week. Hey, real quick, I just wanted to tell you about an awesome resource I created. If you have ever found yourself in conversations with people, or maybe people offering you suggestions about what you should do to become a mom, it's called the Top 27 Things People Say When You're Childless and How to Respond. You can get your copy free at lanamanikowski.com/thingspeoplesay.